Stargate might have found its production company. Could be Bad Robot. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, a couple of weeks ago on a live stream, we actually joked that, oh God, what if Bad Robot actually took on the production running of a new Stargate series? Because it would seem that that's currently what's holding up Stargate. We've been talking a lot about them having to find a showrunner, but actually Amazon don't make TV shows themselves, and well, MGM don't either really. They actually work in partnership with production companies who make the TV shows for them. So Amazon need to find that company. It would seem, according to a source I've been speaking to, that Bad Robot have already pitched to MGM about possibly taking on the role. So before I tell you actually about the pitch and roughly what the story idea is, let me just tell you quickly about the source. Right, so as you know, if you're a regular Sidetracker, there's a few people I used to speak to, one in particular that used to work at MGM. He now works for another firm. Through his other job, he came in contact with this person. This person is somebody that does computer-generated imagery. They're a very technical person, and they actually worked on the pitch for Bad Robot. They don't work for Bad Robot. They work for a company that Bad Robot used to create the imagery and the animation, etc., for the pitch meeting. So this person no longer works for that company. They work for a different agency. It's quite common, that type of role. They do quite short consulting sort of contracts. So they were more than happy to talk about it to my source, who was more than happy to share it with me. So when did this pitch meeting happen? According to my source, the pitch meeting happened in September this year. Apparently, MGM and Amazon have been putting it out there since as early as February to production companies, suggesting that if any of them would like to come forward to the pitch, that they would be interested to discuss it. And apparently, as early as February, Bad Robot expressed an interest. So they've come forward, and in September, as I say, they pitched a suggestion for what they would do with the franchise. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and like and share the video wherever the hell you want. Also, if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, please hit the join button. Also, we have our sister channel, Sidetrack Sides, where we do lots of little best bits from the lives and lots of other fun, silly little videos. So please go and subscribe to Sides. So what do I think about Bad Robot taking on the Stargate franchise if that's what happens? Well, my instinct, I got to admit, is dear God, no, please don't. But that's a knee-jerk reaction to the Star Trek movies, which even though I quite like them as films, they're not Star Trek. It's a knee-jerk reaction to the couple of Star Wars movies Bad Robot did. They weren't good. It's a knee-jerk reaction to lens flares and things like that. But actually, if you look at the sort of projects Bad Robot have done over the years, they've done some really good television shows and a couple of good movies. Both of the Mission Impossible films that they did were pretty good. Back in the day, I loved Fringe. I was never a big fan of Lost. It started brilliant, and I know it was massively loved, but it really ended weakly. They did a series called Almost Human, which got cancelled halfway through the first series with Carl Urban in, which was brilliant. I was gutted that show got cancelled. And obviously Westworld, even though for me series 2, 3 weren't great, the first series was absolutely brilliant. They are capable of making really good movies and really good TV shows. In lots of ways, they're an obvious choice for MGM because they've got the experience to do both. And if MGM and Amazon generally want to bring Stargate back and turn it into not just a TV show, but actual franchise with movies and television series, Bad Robot, in lots of ways, is a sensible company to choose. It should also be said that it's not the first time Bad Robot has been linked to Stargate. Back in 2014-2015, MGM did try to reboot, a hard reboot, of the franchise. They wanted to create a trilogy of movies. Initially, Roland Emmerich was signed up to do this. That deal fell through quite quickly, and it was very heavily rumoured that Bad Robot were going to step in. MGM, mainly because of financial reasons, decided not to go ahead with the project, but maybe Bad Robot are about to get a second crack of the whip. It's also maybe good timing for Bad Robot because You know, they've done Star Wars, they've done Star Trek. It doesn't look like Star Trek 4 is going to happen. They don't have really a big franchise in their arsenal at the moment. They've got a couple of big TV shows coming up with Warner Brothers, but actually, Sarah Aubrey, who is the head of original content at HBO, in a recent interview with Variety magazine, did actually say Bad Robot had pitched a couple of big franchise projects to them that they declined. They don't really have any big franchise movies coming up. As I say, Star Trek 4 is almost certainly not going to happen at this point. And really, they're not going to get another Star Wars film. Looking at their upcoming projects, really the biggest thing I can see is that they're planning to do a Speed Racer TV show with Warner Brothers. But even that, to be honest, is not a sure thing. So what do I think about this news, really? I have to unplug my brain here a little bit. And because my heart says, please no, please don't do this. Please keep J.J. Abrams the hell away from my TV show. I love Stargate. It's my favorite show ever made. I don't particularly like what J.J. Abrams did with Star Trek. And if he does that to Stargate, oh, it would be bad. I think, particularly with Star Trek, Bad Robot changed things for the sake of it. And for me, even though I love the films, I thought they were actually really good, they're not Star Trek. Now, if he brought back a new TV show, even if it was good, even if I enjoyed it, if he faffed around with things and changed things just for the sake of it, like he did with Star Trek, it won't be Stargate. And I'm not sure I could really go through that again. So, in one respect, I hope these rumors aren't true. But if I just go with my head and I honestly just look at the sort of projects Bad Robot has done over the years, they have done some TV shows and movies that I absolutely love. So, am I willing to give them the benefit of the doubt? Maybe. Another thing to think about, though, is that this pitch apparently happened in September. What I'm being told is a decision is going to be made, or that we will know about a decision roughly around the new year. Now, is that because they have decided to go Bad Robot? Is that because other production companies are also pitching and MGM are then going to make a decision at the end of it? I'm not sure. But I'd have thought if it was a successful pitch, wouldn't we know? Now, I have to say that the person that's given me this information has no clue how the pitch went. They were not involved in that. They were involved in creating some of the animation, etc., for the pitch. So they simply don't know. But what they do know is roughly what Bad Robot are intending to do with Stargate. Now, as I've told you before, apparently, Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus are working hard to create a Bible for whichever production company then takes on the Stargate mantle. They're developing a do's and don'ts for the TV series that then Amazon will sign off on, and the new production company, under its license to create the show, will be actually contractually obliged to follow. Whether Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus will then get involved in producing the new TV show, we just don't know. But I am reassured that Amazon are actually going through this process to make sure that whatever production company they license to don't mess with canon more than they're willing to let them, at least. But what was the pitch and what were they intending to do with the story? Well, this is where I am actually very concerned, because according to the source, they are planning to do sort of a semi-hard reboot. They wanted to do sort of, at least to begin with, a time travel movie and follow up with a series where Ra never actually came to Earth. The Stargate was found, but no one ever actually figured out how to work it. So none of what we've seen in Stargate SG-1, even the movie originally, happened. They pitched to do a movie first and then a 10-episode streaming series that would cover this storyline, and then potentially another movie which would then go into the restoring of the timeline. I really don't know how I feel about that. I hate timey-wimey episodes, and I hate them messing with canon, and I hate it when they use time travel as an excuse or a cheat code to get around messing with canon, like they did for Star Trek. But apparently, a big part of the pitch was that they would return back to canon at the end of possibly the second movie. I imagine that depends on how the series goes. Now, as I say, I don't know how Amazon took that pitch. I don't know if Amazon could even go back and say, well, that pitch was great, but we'd like you to go in a slightly different direction and pitch again. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But if this is true, at least it is, again, more evidence that Amazon are serious about Stargate and are working towards a new series. A lot of people are getting nervous. I'm getting nervous that maybe Amazon aren't serious about bringing back Stargate. But one thing we have to hold on to and that we have to remember is that Amazon love money. They love the cha-ching. And at the end of the day, Stargate is one of the biggest IPs that MGM own. At one point, it was only second to Bond for its financial worth to MGM. And let's be honest, that is a big incentive for Amazon. I'm absolutely certain Stargate is going to be back with us very, very soon. But what do you think? What do you think about this news? What do you think about the very vague pitch idea that seems to have been sent over? Please get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps us out. And as always, if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, consider hitting the join button and becoming a fully fledged side trekker. As always, please stay safe. I'll see you next time.